Year 9. So we're looking at questions like this now. We're usually going to be given two pieces of information about some numbers, and then we need to figure out what these numbers are. Or sometimes you'll only need to figure out what one thing is. Let's look at this type of question. So it says two numbers have a product of 12. One number is 4 less than the other. What are the two numbers? Okay, well, you may be able to just look at this and be like, oh, well, that's pretty easy to figure out, but we're going to figure it out algebraically, just in case you have to deal with numbers more difficult than this. So I'm going to call one of the numbers x. No idea what it is, don't care. We'll just call it x. So if one number is x, that means the other number is going to be x minus 4, right? It's going to be, one number is x, the other number is going to be 4 less than that number. Okay? So we've used this piece of information. Now let's use this piece. So it says they have a product of 12. Well, in order to have a product, you need to multiply. So we're going to multiply these two together. So x times x gives us x squared. X times negative 4 gives us negative 4x. And it says the product is 12. So when you multiply them together, you get a product of 12. So that means x squared minus 4x should equal 12. One thing before I go forward, I put brackets around this because this x minus 4 is a single number. It's a single piece of information. So when we're multiplying the two together, I'm multiplying it as though it's one single piece. I'm not going to... Anyway, so we get x squared minus 4x equals 12. This doesn't look like anything we've seen before, but what if I subtract 12 off of both sides? Because what I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. X squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Now this looks like something we have seen before. So I need two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and sum to negative 4. Well, if we look at 12 and its factors, in order to get a sum of 4, I don't look at the multiplication right away. I look at the sum. We need negative 4. Well, if you add 1 and 12 together, you're only going to get 11 or 13, one of the two. If you do 3 and 4 together, you're going to get 7, 1, or negative 1. But if we do 2 and 6, we can get our negative 4. Now, it's negative 4, so that means the 6 is going to have to be negative, and we'll use a positive 2. Alright, so we're going to have x minus 6 times x plus 2 gives us 0. Now, this means that x is equal to 6 or negative 2. Right? That's what these mean. Just to recap, one of these, in order for this, so these are two numbers here, right? Two pieces of information, two numbers. In order for them to be multiplied together and equal 0, one of these has to be 0, right? So if this piece is 0, that means x minus 6 equals 0. That means this piece is 0. That means that x has to equal 6, right? Because 6 minus 6 is 0. If this piece is 0, that would mean x plus 2 equals 0, which would mean x would have to equal negative 2. So we have x is equal to 6 or x is equal to negative 2. Now we haven't answered the question yet. We've only found this guy, and we've got two options for him. We need to find this guy. So if x equals 6, that means x minus 4 equals 2, right? So that means our two numbers would be 6 and 2. If x is equal to negative 2, that means x minus 4 would be negative 6. 6 times 2 equals 12, and negative 2 times negative 6 equals 12. So we have two possible solutions. Either our numbers are 6 and 2, or negative 2 and negative 6. And there's our answer. All right.